I'm sitting down today with the founder of Loud as Hell. This is Geoff Bourie. How are you doing today?
I'm awesome.
Good. I have a couple questions about Loud as Hell first, and then we'll move into a little bit more fun stuff.
Do the best I can.
Alrighty. So how did you come up with the idea of creating your heavy metal festival?
It was actually almost like a little bit of a fluke, if you would say. A friend of mine from Vancouver, his name is Brian Gamlin, in a band called Titan's Eve. I was promoting some shows through Drumheller. I live in Drumheller. So I was just doing random, metal shows there. And they gave me an opportunity to bring the band Kill Devil Hill, which has Rex Brown from Pantera, Vin Appice, a bunch of really good guys. So we were like, man, this is really cool. But I mean, it's a pretty big band to bring to our small town.
Yeah.
So we were like, how do we even afford to do this? We're like, well, we have to make an event out of it. So we made a one-time event. It was 2 days, 10 bands. It was a $40 ticket. There was no camping. It was 18 plus. It was a one-time deal. We called it Loud as Hell. It was just a name I had come up with. And so we ran with it. And it was a one-time thing. At the end of that weekend, we lost a lot of money.
Oh.
But we felt that it was something we could grow off of. So we decided within 24 hours of the first event finishing that we were going to continue and we were going to try a second one. So Loud as Hell 2 was spawned, and then now we're into year 9. So it really wasn't, we weren't looking to do a festival. It was something that we tried to just make the best out of the funds we had to bring a bigger band to our small little community. And we realized that people were coming out for our show from Calgary to Edmonton, so we're like, maybe we can actually build off this and make this legit and start going camping and stuff. So the next year we blew it up. We put it all ages. We went full on-site camping. Like we brought in 3 Inches of Blood as our headliner. It was just like, if we're gonna do this, let's make a go at it. Like let's, first time was just kind of a fluke the way it came together, and we were very inexperienced what we were doing. But even after 1 year, we were like, man, we can take this to the next level. And I feel obviously we've done that every year since now. It's the kind of thing that almost like, even as we don't make a bunch of money at this. Usually we're a little on the opposite side of that, but for us it's a matter of the atmosphere that we bring and that we have coming from all over the world now. So it's been an awesome journey. I'll tell you, we've learned a lot in almost 10 years.
And what kind of changes have you made from year 1 to now? Like you said camping.
Yeah, obviously the camping on site was a big one. We wanted to kind of have the feel of like a European type festival. That's where all the the big metal festivals go. And funny enough, our festival goes on the same weekend as the Wacken Festival in Germany, which is one of the biggest metal festivals in the world. And so to us, it was kind of random that it's kind of like our own version of this. We're gonna like a Canadian version. I know a lot of people that can't get overseas to that every year.
Yeah.
It sells out right away. So it's like, you know what? An option for people in our own area. We have our own festival that's very European based in that festival. We have on-site camping, we have food trucks, we have vendors.
Yeah.
And we take it, we've really grown it. First it was just bands, and like I said, it wasn't even kids. Now we've added a second stage where we do guitar clinics, different drum clinics and stuff. We do like burlesque shows, obviously the Hazzardous materials go out there many of times. We do a lot of different things. We've got some comedians this year. We try to mix it up, so we're always trying to add elements to make it more of a unique experience. I think one of the best things we've done is we host a free pancake breakfast on Saturday and Sunday mornings.
Yeah. And
that's something that no other else is doing, and it's just kind of a neat way for us to get everybody up in the morning, soak up some of the booze that's from the night before, and it's kind of neat to see a couple hundred people in the venue eating pancakes while there's a death metal band on the stage, which is super cool, right? Pig squeals and pancakes is what we call it, so.
And do you have any advice for new metalheads going to be going to the show for the first time this year?
Oh, it's one of those things like everyone's like, it's something you can do very cost effectively. Like right now, like I say, our weekend passes right now are $100 for the whole weekend. That includes a pancake breakfast and everything. You bring a tent, you bring a little bit of money for some food, a little bit of money for some booze, and really you're going to have a good time. It's one of those things that as it grows each year, we get more and more people. Last year we had over 600 people, so it was like we've really grown to a point where we feel a really good sense of family there.
Yeah.
You can come pretty unprepared, even if you don't have a lot of camping stuff, and people there will totally pitch in and help stuff go down. So it's really one of those things. Even me, like it's hard to walk through a campground with someone offering you a drink or to sit down and bullshit listening to some music. So it's really cool. I would say biggest advice is make sure you bring clothing for all types of weather.
Yeah.
We live in Alberta, and in Drumheller is a little different. We don't get the Chinooks like the city does and stuff. We get some crazy windstorms and stuff. So I always say, like, last year was the best weather we've ever had. It was super hot almost all the time, but 2 years ago it was like a mud pit for 50% of it.
Oh my goodness.
So bring out the proper clothing,
Yeah.
and we always say bring water. I mean, as much as everyone's partying and drinking, you got to stay hydrated. Last year, our biggest concern was, the weather got up into the mid 30s, and all of a sudden people aren't getting enough hydration going, and people are starting to dwindle down. So
Yeah.
hydration's a big thing, and the clothing, and really good tent pegs.
Yeah, tent pegs. Mine almost
We've
blew away
seen
last
a
year.
few tents take off into the air. It's pretty hilarious.
I know this is a really hard question for you to probably answer, but who that took your stage is your favorite? I know.
It's tough. I've had a lot of bands that I've always wanted to see that I've been able to bring, that I've been like, yes. 3 Inches of Blood, one of them. I had seen them before, but to see them on our intimate stage, and that was just a few years before they had disbanded, so that was a pretty highlight memory for me, even though our festival was only in year 2, it wasn't super big.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Battlecross fan, so when we had them in year 6, that was one of the coolest sets I think our festival's ever seen. It's also really tough because you make good friends with a lot of people, and you start to really appreciate their music and and stuff. So I'd put an honorable mention. I'm a big fan of Tessitura from Edmonton. I think they're a great band. I don't know. Planet Eater's always been one of my favorite. They crush.
What about any band that you could choose to take your stage? Who would it be and why?
Oh, that's a good question. My all-time favorite band, who I think would fit our festival, Austin, is a little too big for us, is the band Testament. I've been a Testament fan for probably 35 years.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So, I mean, if I had won a lottery, Testament would headline our festival probably. So that would probably be like my all-time, just because that's my personal fave. There is a couple Canadian bands I'd like to see hit our stage at some point. I think the Agonists is a really good band out of Montreal. I would love to see them come our way at some point. Same with Cataclysm, even though they were part of AMF in recent years. Eventually, I'd like to have that band hit our stage as well. Just some of those bigger Canadian icons.
Yeah.
Even though we have a lot of talent that comes from out of Canada, we do concentrate on Canada
Canadian,
metal,
yeah.
right? Like, if we have 40 bands on a weekend, there's probably 30 to 32 of them that are from Canada, and even more so over 20 of them from Western Canada. So, we're very fortunate to have a great plethora of bands from the cities around in Alberta, BC, even Saskatchewan. Like, it's great. We don't realize how spoiled we are.
Yeah. Are you willing to leak any secrets about the upcoming Loud as Hell festival for us?
Our lineup is complete except for one band, honestly, and we had talks with our headlining band for a few months, and we struggle with headliners for the fact that summer most bands are touring Europe. So it's hard for us to really hone in on some of those bands that they're playing overseas a lot. So we had a band that was locked in, and unfortunately they've taken a different route now with some European tour. So they've had to back out of our show. So now we're working on a new headliner. As soon as we have that in place, we're going to be ready to release the lineup. So I'm hoping within the next week or two we're going to be able to pump this out. So
I'm so excited.
yes.
And just a couple more questions.
Sure.
What's the craziest thing that you've seen at your festival?
We've had Doug Smode and his crew out there with permafrost suspension. They've done a few things where I'm like, holy shit, like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
I like that stuff, but it's like, when they were, piercing their knees and suspending
goodness.
themselves and stuff, I'm like, it's a train wreck, but I gotta watch what's going on.
Yeah.
I find that stuff's pretty crazy. I can recall a couple years ago, Ninja Spy headlined one of our nights for us. Ninja Spy is a great band out of Vancouver, and when they were playing, I can recall seeing 2-3 people going up crowd surfing, and for us that was such a cool moment because we get a good crowd, but I mean once you start getting people crowd surf stuff, you can really see how thick and how tight in that crew is. So
Yeah.
when I'm backstage, I'm looking out and I see 400 or 500 people and people are crowded. I just that type of thing.
It just
It's
wows
just
ya.
it's just that feeling. It's like, man, this is why we do it. I'm looking at every smile and every pair of horns out there, and I'm like, yeah, that's what makes me want to make it better, right? So there's always those type of moments. Fit for an Autopsy, another one. They're probably one of the heaviest bands we've ever had, and their bass drops on their drums were just like you could feel it so good in your heart. Like I love that live presence of heavy music. But we've also had some crazy shit happen. I mean, we have a lot of people on site. A lot of things can go wrong. We've had to call 911 a handful of times for different reasons. You know, we've had some dislocated knees. We've had some concussions. Just different things from, mosh pit or, just being kind of silliness and stuff.
Metal scene.
So yeah, nothing that's really hardcore. But I mean, those are all things that on my side of things, we have strategic plans in place to really properly take care of those things. But those are always the things that really stand out as well as, hey, something happened or, someone wasn't doing well and we've been able to turn around and make it better for them and make the experience good no matter what happens, right?
Nice. And I have one little silly question. What's your poison? If you could pick, what's your favorite drink?
I'm a rum guy. I like my spiced rum. But lately I've been doing peach Crown Royal with iced tea.
Oh my goodness. That
Not even a
sounds
big
really
iced tea
nice.
guy, but it's just like drinking peach iced tea. It's like, so that's kind of been my drink lately. I'm also a fan of Caesars, so.
Everyone is.
Yeah. Don't do the Tabasco, but yeah, definitely love my
Nice,
Caesars.
nice. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, my
Get
pleasure.
ready for Loud as Hell and get drunk as hell this summer.
Yes.